that's a bad thing. That was a bad explanation. Yeah, that was just a bad explanation. Hey y'all, it's Michael Burnley here to talk about more fun code stuff. No matter how much experience you have, you'll spend a lot of time taking a look at a lot of code. I don't want to shame anyone, especially when they're just starting to learn, but I did think it was important to take a little bit of time to talk a little bit about spaghetti code and how you can avoid it. It's a term that's bandied around a lot, but here's a clear definition. Now, from the definition, it sounds bad, and it is. We particularly call it spaghetti because it's tightly coupled with the rest of the code, relying on far too many dependencies for it to keep working. Basically, that means that you can't just change a single piece. You have to untangle it from the rest of the code before you can even understand what's happening with it. Nobody is immune to writing spaghetti code. Every developer does it, particularly when they're just starting out. And even when you're much more experienced, you're still going to do it. But often, it's something that you can avoid with just a little architecture. And what I mean by that is just planning. Now, all this planning won't mean much in the beginning. However, it'll help you start thinking about the overall design of your project, code-wise. As game devs, we spend a lot of time on designing our game, but we don't often spend that much time designing how our game is set up. But where most beginners stop is how to structure your code and data. I put together a couple of tips that will help you stretch that muscle. The first is, draw out how your data will move through the script. This is simple. Given a set of inputs, describe how your data will change once it exits that function. For instance, say you're writing a function that all it will do is change a ball from a color to another color, say red to blue. Your map should look something like this. On function call, red ball object. Check, is the ball already blue and in position? During, translate in Y, 10 units up, change color to red. After call, blue ball object. Now you're probably thinking, I already do that in my head, and that's great, that's what you want to do. But sometimes just writing out what you need to do, especially with something that's a lot more complex, will help you out a lot. 2. Flowchart how the system works broadly. Flowcharting just works. Once you understand what you want to build, building out the flow of logic will help you come across any potential issues way before you even get there. You don't have to get hung up on every detail, as more than likely what the logic flows is and will be will change, but an initial charting will help you understand the system that you're trying to build. You can use a couple of different resources. The one that we use internally is Flowchart, but there's a lot of different things you can do. Google Drive has one as well. Just anything, or a pencil, a piece of paper, whatever. 3. Step through your code after you write it. Once you actually put pen to paper, so to speak, step through every line. Is there anything confusing? Is there something that just works and you don't really understand it? Does the function do more than what you had set it out to do? Turn it into something that you do understand. Break it apart. Now, that's a lot to say without showing you anything. So, we're going to go through an example, courtesy of Yandere Dev. I think the developer of Yandere Simulator gets picked on a lot, and I'm not really here to do that. But considering he's famous for his unorthodox coding style, we're going to pull out a snippet from some old code, just so that we can step through it. This is just the update function of one script that handles for checking notes in a locker. It's a big block, but I think I see a lot of places where this could be improved. Let's take a single section from the beginning. Yandere Simulator is a big game with a lot of features, which is probably part of the reason why it's been stuck in development hell for so long. But a lot of its complexity is self-inflicted. A great example is this if statement. For entering this, we're checking way too many things here. Now, I'm not saying these aren't necessary checks. They're here for a reason, but there can absolutely be some improvements, even if we aren't taking a look at the system as a whole. Now, if we applied all these tips here, just from looking at this, line-wise, things didn't change much. However, you're better able to take a look at what's happening. You already end up with much more readable code. And in this example, a clear benefit is that you can add another student phase without adding any complexity to the script. That being said, fixing spaghetti code isn't about readability or formatting your code. It's also about decoupling dependencies. However, that's very specific to the system that you're working in, and it's a little hard to do that through something like as small as the scope of this video. But just making your code to be a little bit more readable helps you to untangle that spaghetti in a big way. With enough time, you'll be able to intuit how to structure your data and code. but that comes with experience. So in the meantime, follow the tips I gave you a little earlier. Here they are again. And that's it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, please like and subscribe.